Hey, it's Brian here from quantlabs.net. I just wanted to go through my experiences with the current version of Matlab 2013A. Trying to integrate a database to be used with something like a tick database or something should be easy. Unfortunately, my experience with the SQL Server, which I was originally going to use as my primary database, failed. I don't know why it is. It's too kind of chaotic for me to set up. You got to go through a jar file and set up an ODBC connector and all that sort of stuff. I tried different methodologies to get it working with the SQL Server, but I failed. I also tried Postgres. That failed. It's too primitive for Windows, just not advanced enough, and I've given up on both. But in the past, with the 2011 version of Matlab, I was always able to get it working with MySQL. MySQL today, 2013, is not as good as it was before Oracle came along. They have severely limited the free edition. It doesn't look like you can get the 64-bit anymore. Only 32-bit, which blows. I could be wrong on that, but from the downloads that I was offered, it was just 32-bit. So that's a severe limitation. Anyways, but I still am going to proceed with MySQL because what I'm about to show you is not critical. I'm not using this for production or trading or live trading environment. I'm just using this for researching and testing to integrate a tick database with Matlab and obviously using MySQL as the repository for those ticks. So the first thing I want to to draw your attention to is I've always struggled with the new Workbench for this MySQL. I'm not a big fan of it, but there is a set of tools you can download that are still out there. I want to make you aware of them. The MySQL GUI tools, so just do a search through Google for this and download it. Again, it's 32-bit, doesn't matter. And one of the tools that you'll be able to use when you download it is this, what they call a MySQL query database. Here you can easily set up new schemas, new tables. It's much easier to use than the Workbench, or maybe I'm an idiot and don't know how to use the Workbench, but I couldn't find my way through it. So I'm able to do that here, and then create a database and then a table, and obviously columns for that table. So that's what I've done. Again, for both Matlab, for MySQL, I'm not here as a certified MySQL or Matlab professor or teacher. I'm just showing you what I've done. So I'm hoping you can do all your Google searches, you can figure it out on YouTube to get you started. If I was to spend all amount of time, it'd take me literally hours to show every step of the way, but I'm just showing you the gotchas you should be aware of. So when you do set up your database, which is pretty easy, right click here and just go create new table. When you come under your table, just go create new schema, and then under your table you can create or new schema, and then you edit your table like so, and then you can bring up your schema, and then you can add in your columns. Yeah, it's pretty easy, your data types and all that. Again, I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I have created those elements or objects within the MySQL. Also, with the Workbench, if you're still stuck on it, you can use it. This is the new 6.0. I mean, you could do the same thing here and just do a select. I think I gotta choose my database, so I'm gonna choose the test database and then select test table, and then execute it. Yeah, I have to choose my table, so I'm using test database. So I got this message here, no database selected. Use table, and here. Okay, so hopefully, okay, so it did select test table. So there's the data, all the rows in for that table. Okay, so here's the Workbench, another GUI. I'm always using the root, doesn't matter, it's not highly secured database. So I have my database here, all the same similar things as the query browser, and the columns and all that stuff. So just setting it up was a pain in the ass. So test, then select from test table and execute. There you go. So there's all the data. You can go in as well and add new data to it. Anyways, so I'm going to hop into my Matlab 2011. Okay, before we continue, you do need to come under your control panel and create an ODBC connector. So under the administrative tools, here I've created a MySQL test. Part of the installation process will install the driver for you, so that should be fairly easy. I'll just show you the walkthrough of that. I'll ask you for your data source name, obviously, the user, sorry, where the server is, in this case obviously localhost, root, password, and the database I'm trying to set it up for this particular ODBC connector. And we can test it, yay, it works. And that's that. Okay. Now we know that works. So now we come into our MATLAB 2013. There's a new function called dExplore. So it's going to ask for your data source. So in my case, I'm going to for that ODBC connector. So I'm going to use the MySQL test. Now it's going to ask for the user and all that stuff. Password, you connect. Now I was not able to get as far as this with MySQL, but this is now the power of MATLAB itself. It's obviously I'm a lazy person. I just like my GUI stuff. But as you can see, I have access to the data. Now it's going to ask me for the matrix of what I'm going to call it within my workspace. Now this is where it gets kind of cool. I can import it, but I also can generate the SQL and the script for it. So let's just do this, the import. So there's the workspace right here. That's the X I just created for these rows. If I expand it, what it will look like in the workspace. So there you go. That's it. It all exists. So I go back to my database explorer. It doesn't stop there, as I said, where you can just import. You can also generate your SQL, and the neat thing is you can generate your M script for it. So that is very cool. So I can run that within my any MATLAB M script, or plug it into any MATLAB M script. On top of that, I haven't tried this yet. This is kind of cool. Generate your SQL statement. So there's your SQL as well. So this is the nice thing about MATLAB, trying to do this within R. Good luck with it. So that's pretty well what I wanted to show you. So the unfortunate part is, I guess I'll be using MySQL as my primary database for this sort of stuff, and I can also allow my C# applications, basically the platform, or even in Java, be able to insert the data as the ticks come in from IQFeed and insert them into this table. So that's pretty cool, and just thought I'd show it to you. From my experience, I'm using MySQL. It's easier, and I've tried both SQL Server and Postgres, as I said, and don't ask me about Oracle, because I find Oracle just massive bloatware. I don't want to get into that. But for this kind of need, it's fine. Talk to you later.